Come on, PD, light my fire. Try to set my smoke on fire and stuff. Spider Pete does whatever a spider can. Searches the web every night. Finding news, that's all right. Look out. Oh,
Hey!
yeah. Here comes the PD man.
Something like that.
Or Spider Pete. Hey, you're listening to That's Life, the podcast designed with your laughter in mind. So please sit back, relax, and prepare to be entertained.
That's life.
That's life.
And
That's what all
we're
people
back.
say.
Episode number 30.
Big 3-0.
That's right.
Son of a bitch,
officially
we're under
in our
attack.
30s.
It's like things are blowing around. There's wind
Yeah,
and
it's
trees.
windy outside, pseudo-stormy.
Shit's hitting the... I'd say, shit might have been hitting the fan on the air conditioning and the window.
That's
there.
possible. No, I believe that
Sounded
was
like
actually
plastic.
chestnuts. Is there a chestnut
Roasting on an
walnut
open,
trees and stuff, and they
something.
fall down, dump, and they
Well,
hit the
yeah,
corrugated
just
tin
Over
roof,
there.
like a walnut.
Look, let me have
on a
my
hot tin
moment.
roof. Okay.
Damn it.
What
Some
was
shit
that sound?
just could have hit a fan. We wouldn't know.
We don't want to hit our fans.
Something
We
somewhere.
love our fans.
It's true. But if
Besides-
shit hit them, I would laugh.
We're not like Batman fans. We don't want bad things to happen
No, that's
to our
true.
fans. We
But
love
that
our
will
fans.
happen if you spoil the movie for me. We'll tear gas you and shoot you to death.
So yeah, here we are with episode 30.
Right. Alienating as many audiences as we can before
No,
we
no,
talk
no.
about anything else.
It's okay if they're already dead. They can't listen to the show. So
That's true.
here we are. Let's see what's new with Pete. We're going to start with Pete. What's new with you?
Let's see. What is new with me? Well, not a whole fuck of a lot.
Awesome.
It's been an uneventful week. Doing a lot of the same. I mean, like I hit level 85 on my paladin. That's about the most exciting thing I've done. Though, along the same lines, been having a good time with those people on the internets at
Always
odd
good.
hours. Just making. I've started to create a small World of Warcraft religion.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess this could count as what's new.
That sounds like something I can get behind.
There's one of our guildies. This guy, he's a mage. It doesn't talk on vent. Not one of those, I'm a girl, but I never talk. It's just cool dude, apparently. It says like 2 or 3 things in guild chat every now and then, but is always around and has been there forever and always does
We'll give
stuff
him a
with
shout out. What's
everything.
his... Wow.
His Toon's name is Sarah Glenn.
Say what?
Sarah Glenn.
Sarah Glenn?
Sarah, it's a bunch of E's. SEREGLIN. Sarah Glenn.
Sarah Glenn. Oh.
Yeah.
Why don't you say so?
Yeah. Oh, well, so we took it upon ourselves, me and one of the more vocal, amusing guys, to start. We were like, oh, he's a mage. And he's so mysterious. He never talks. And I was like, he's the international mage of mystery.
Yes, here
right?
we go.
So the other night, we were raiding, and we have this fantastically obnoxious small child in our guild now, which is great. And by small child, I mean he's going to be in 9th grade this next school year starting.
Yeah.
Which is normal. I mean, it's it's whatever. Everybody plays this game. We know that. But the most of us are in our 20s-ish, and then a smattering of age ranges here and there. It's just this one particular younger kid happens to be kind of obnoxious. Because he'll be like, oh, how do I do this? Oh, all right, we'll explain it to you. Oh, okay. Well, how do I do this? Dude, that was part of the explanation. Oh, okay. Well, what about this part of that? I already told you 5 times. So there's a lot of that. So
Does he need a job?
yeah, you can have him. So we were raiding or doing something, and he was asking why Saragorn never spoke on Vent. So I was like, because he's the international mage of mystery. He doesn't talk. But why doesn't he talk on Vent? I want to know why he doesn't talk on Vent. Well, because, look, you ever seen Dogma? He's like God from Dogma. If your puny human ears were to actually hear his voice, your head would explode and your chest would cave in. Everybody else is laughing silly. And I'm like, you don't understand. Oh, okay. 10 minutes later. So how come Saragorn never talks on Vent? Look, I've been over this. His voice is so powerful, the puny human internet and microphones and wires can't handle it. It would just destroy the entire internet. Everything would explode and the world would generally cease. Oh. And so that was it for a little bit. And so Now we're speculating, what the fuck does Sarah Glenn actually think? Because he doesn't ever comment on, like, I'll be going on these long-ass tirades about how he's so amazing and he's godlike. I actually said he plays World of Warcraft very much like Dr. Manhattan in his Crystal Palace on Mars. Probably.
I gotcha.
So then we started comparing him to Dr. Manhattan and how Sarah Glenn, when he bangs chicks, it's 6 of him, just doing all that kind of stuff.
Why someone that awesome would want to play World of Warcraft to escape from his awesomeness?
To sort of giggle at the cute little humans. That's like, I'm trying to make him this crazy, larger than life sort of
figure,
being.
yes.
And like that's the speculation is, what is he actually like listening to this insanity and reading all our crazy shit? Like, is he sitting there like pissing himself laughing at his computer screen, or is he just going, puny humans, let them have their entertainment?
Probably farming for Mage Royal while he's watching television. And he's not even paying attention.
Care. But either way, I'm having fun with it, and it's making everybody else laugh. And that's why I wish I had like fraps or some kind of recording equipment on my computer, because I would record that shit and all of it, and just like some of the stuff that we talk about, and then put that on our channel.
I totally have to set up Ven on my computer.
It takes like 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
We can do that at some point. But so that's like trying to start the cult of Sarah Glenn. I started referring to him as, the international mage of mystery, our Lord and Savior, and things like that. Just generally trying to deify this guy that we've never heard speak.
It's better that way.
Because he feeds into his own mystery. And that's what makes it great. It's like, it's best.
He just won't speak.
He's always there, though. That's the thing. He's not very omnipotent or omnipresent. He's like always around, always there doing stuff. And then...
like you're farming for savage leathers, and all of a sudden this ice bolt comes out of nowhere and just kills the fucking raptor, and you're like, what? And he just waves at you and just teleports out. Like, what?
No, you don't understand. It was there. I was touched by an angel. Yeah, sure you were. Okay.
I was touched by a mage. They tried to crucify him.
Touched by a mage bolt.
They tried to crucify him, then he ice blocked, and they gave up. It was awesome.
The Romans just despawned. It was crazy.
They almost killed him, and then he potted and disappeared.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's generally trying to spread humor and ridiculousness across the internet.
Well, the internet needs more humor and ridiculous.
Yeah, because there's not enough.
When I think of what that's like bringing sand to the beach, really.
Yeah, it's true.
But
Pissing into the ocean, trying to make the water level rise.
Yes, we're gonna give it a damnable good shot.
Hey, as well.
Let's see what's new.
What's up with you?
Well, this podcast we're recording it Friday night. We were aiming for a little bit Wednesday
more midweek,
night, wasn't it? Yeah. Because Monday was it Monday night or Tuesday night? Monday night. Yeah, it was Monday
night. We came in and made the place livable.
Yeah, did some stuff in the studio, put in a refrigerator and air conditioner. We put a refrigerator in the window. What? We like to
be able to see where we're getting our food from.
Yeah, it's a translucent refrigerator.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Window mounted.
It's a window raider.
Yeah, it's a new Window Wizards Frigidaire. It's tough times, we got to combine, pool our efforts. But so we put that in there. It was about 600,000 degrees.
Yep, that was pretty awesome.
And we melted while we did it, but it works great.
Not that we fucking need it right now.
Yeah. So then, Wednesday we're going to do this, and then the guy, or the third shift guy who is in my position, calls out. So I'm like, great, I got to stay because who else is going to fucking run the show?
Yep.
Control room, speaking wise. So
right.
I'm like, okay, I'll say, Pete, we'll make it. I got good news and bad news. Good news is the refrigerator. There I go again.
Yep.
The air conditioner works great. The bad news is Bob called out. Okay, so we'll do it Thursday. Definitely Thursday. Great.
Right. Yeah, no problem.
So I come home and there was all this other stuff I was going to do. So I watch a Flash tutorial about how to do graphic arts and illustrating and logos and all this stuff. I'm like, all right, this is going to be great tomorrow. We'll record the podcast. I'll make the logo and a couple other graphics for the YouTube site so we can stick it up there. Something to look at. This will be great. Okay, next day, Bob calls out again. It's also 10,000 degrees. And so I call Pete up and go, Pete, guess what?
Yep.
He knew what the deal was.
Second verse, same as the first.
Yeah, so we're going to do it Friday. I'll be done early Friday. It's a great thing we have the air conditioner, yada, yada. Tim's like, I can do Friday. And Steph can come with me because we're getting done early. Okay, great. So we don't get done early.
Early turns into normal time.
It's like 67 degrees outside. But here we are. But now Thursday night. Okay, fine, I'll stay, but I'm starving. All I had was like a little like cup of noodles-y thing.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I'm like, I'm going to run out real quick, get something to eat. I want to do some light shopping at Walmart. Didn't feel like doing it at 3:30 in the fucking morning.
No.
So I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to get this done now so I can just go home when I'm done this. I'm tired. I'm hungry, whatever. They're like, yeah, what are they going to say? No. You know,
Right,
I'll say,
yeah.
fuck you, then I'm not staying. Then they have to they have to do my job, and nobody
really
wants to
be
do that.
beat.
So I zip up the street, go to Walmart, and I'm like, I'm hungry. I don't want to go to Wawa because that gives me dysentery. So I'm like, what can I do? And I look, I'm like, oh, a Subway. I've never eaten at a Subway before. That should be safe. What could go wrong?
Yeah, I have eaten at Subway before.
Yes. So you know what? It would be healthier to actually eat like off the floor of a Subway than eat anything from Subway. So I'm like, a Subway in Walmart. That should have been.
Yeah, it'll be great. Yeah, exactly.
But I'm
you
hungry.
Just went to the fucking Sbarro in a New York Subway
or just
station.
like gotten like a package something. But I'm like, I'm in a rush. I gotta go. All right, fine. So I go there and I'm like, oh, you know what? Looks like it's closed. And then this looked like an Indian guy or a Pakistani just pops up out of nowhere. He's like, hello, whoa, we are open. Because I asked myself out loud, I'm like, oh, I guess they're closed. All right. You know, sometimes, me especially, I'll talk to myself all the time, especially when I'm by myself.
I make my inner monologue and outer monologue.
Yeah, because I like to pretend there's people with me.
Especially if I drink enough, then
Oh.
it's all outer monologue.
Well, so I'm like, all right, I guess there's no one here. I guess it's closed. And he springs up and he's like, now we are open. Do you like running somewhere? I'm like, okay. And I'm like, shit, I got to actually pick something now. I was like, and I see this like weird sweet onion teriyaki chicken Italiano something. I'm like, that thing there. Oh, yes. It looks. How is it? It looks like it might weather soon. The sandwich will weather soon. I don't know. What? You mean the weather? How's the weather? Yes. What kind of bread would you like? Okay. I'll take this bread. I'm pointing because he's got like pictures, so we're like pointing at the pictures. He's scooping shit out, slopping it in there, and he's wearing gloves. I'm like, well, at least he's wearing gloves. You know, that's kind of neat. That's a new thing that food preparers do all the time. They didn't used to, and nobody died, but they do it now. Whatever. I didn't realize maybe he was cleaning the toilet with those same gloves.
Could have been.
So he slaps all this into a bun. He heats it up in some weird super oven. The chicken's cold by the time I
I think
get to
they
eat
call that a microwave now.
it's like it says a super hot food oven. Good times with a big like thumbs up next to it. I'm like, okay.
Must be Japanese.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
okay, great. So he
Super happy good oven. Hot time food.
He's heating it up. It's heated up food. That's got to kill anything, right? No, that just heated up the bun. The bun was actually toasty and light. I was like, oh, I should have just taken a couple bites out of the bun and just been done with a crust of bread and some water. You know, back to work, prisoner. So I'm like, okay. So I get to work, and as soon as I get there, double wall, which essentially is like crazy, lots of work. And,
It's a pain in the butt.
And the big bosses are now on the third shift. Pulling a,
Cracking that whip.
Yeah, the emperor's coming here. Yes, and he's.
So redouble our efforts.
Yeah, no, you better triple your efforts, motherfucker.
Well, yeah, that's in that particular case.
So I
yes.
get there just as soon as they start, and they start running real fast. So I'm like, shit, fuck, nothing's done. So I'm just like running around, shove food in my face, running around, shove food in my face, just eating it really quickly. And I'm like, wow, this chicken sure is cold. Running around, shove food in my face, running around, shove food in my face. Maybe it got cold from the pickles. It's like, no, they seem hot. Shove food in my face. I'm like, all right, I don't want to eat anymore. I have enough energy now. I'm done. I don't want to overeat or anything. And the Subway, the thing, to give them credit, it was about 50 pounds of food in a foot-long thing, and I'm like, wow,
that's rare for Subway, really.
I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm done, and I'm like, all right, my hands, and shit's just dripping all over my hands. I'm wiping it on rolls and stuff. So I'm like, fuck it. So I throw it out because I've eaten enough. I don't have time to eat anymore. And I'm running around, and I get towards like about 2:30, and I'm leaving at 3, and I'm like, oh, great. No, 2:20. I'm like, great. And then I'm like, ow, did somebody kick me in the stomach and I didn't notice? I'm like, nah. Oh, I'm like, oh, no. No. Oh, no, I got to go. So I yelled at him, like, yeah, Frank, I got to go to the bathroom. Good luck. He's like, oh, I'll be all right, white boy. Because he doesn't give a shit. He's just leaving the seat.
He will take as much time as he needs. That's what I've always loved about.
He was moving quick. He didn't have time to do anything anyway. They were running fast as fuck. So I run to the bathroom. I feel like I got to puke, but I'm not going to puke because it's like 1,000 degrees, and I was slamming Gatorades on top of it because I was like, I sweat about 30 gallons. I've intake nothing. I got to drink something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't feel. So I take care of the explosive nether region nastiness. It's awful. And I run back out on the
Ass
floor,
vomit.
And I'm like, okay, da 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 da. I still don't feel right. Then I'm like, oh no, oh shit. I'm like, Frank, send a midwife to the bathroom. Oh Lord, I need an old priest and a young priest. Oh shit, I need like a copy of the New Testament. So I run to the bathroom.
Bring your rosary beads.
Yeah, I run to the bathroom, and then it's just like so. I don't know if anyone's ever actually had this happen to them. An explosive diarrhea is so bad that
it lifts them off the toilet.
No, that you actually throw up at the same time.
Oh wow!
So, but I don't want to because when you're sitting in a toilet with your pants down,
yeah,
your pants are like right there, which essentially the crotch of my pants will be a catch basin for puke. So I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? So I'm like, I lean back a little bit and just push my feet up against the door for the bathroom.
Okay.
And I'm like holding my feet up and I'm watching the latch of the door like start to buckle. And I'm like throwing up while I shit, aiming it so it doesn't get my pants. And it's 1,000 degrees in the bathroom. Luckily, I was in the ladies' bathroom. Now, people are listening to this thinking, you're a scumbag. How could you use a women's bathroom? Trust me. The men's bathroom looks like that people threw up and shit in it for 16
Constantly.
days. Constantly.
Oh,
like if you went in there would just be asses on the wall and just esophagus is just like a Zerg hatchery. Just and just like bow. Lord of the Flies is in the stall next to you. I feel like a starving Somali. I'm just swarmed with flies.
It's like the men's bathroom at his job will more often than not look like the same bathroom in the movie Desperado at the beginning.
Never saw it, but I can imagine.
Well, it's when Cheech Marin is taking, for those of us who have seen this movie, when Cheech Marin is taking Quentin Tarantino to the back to show him the operation. That's it's a frightening bathroom.
So anyway, I'm in a women's bathroom. I gotta smoke.
Yeah. Well, after shitting and vomiting out that's simultaneously, as it were, you imagine you need a smoke. That's just one of the more awful things I've heard this week. Jesus Christ, God!
It was terrible, and I'm just like seeing and because I ate so fast, it's pretty much coming out like just like
in chunks,
just big chunks. It looks like I kept thinking to myself. This is exactly the way that the Pakistani guy, as he was taking clumps out and putting it in there. And I'm like, you know what? I could probably take this back to him and he put it back in the bins for tomorrow.
That might have been what happened initially.
So I'm just sitting there and I'm like holding my legs up, like, and the whole time I'm like, because I'm trying to hold my legs up. It's hard. I'm just dripping with sweat. Every ounce of my clothing is just saturated in sweat, but that's because it's hot.
That would have happened regardless.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, oh, and I actually felt so much better. I was like, oh, it's like my body just said, no, everybody out.
There's a
not
giant
saying you got to go back to the Walmart, but you can't stay here.
Giant red purge button was hit somewhere.
So,
vet the tags. Vet the tags.
So I'm done. And now I realize that, the floor. Like right where I would put my legs down has got vomit on.
Why are you trying to kill me? Why am I trying to kill me?
So
why not eat Subway?
So I kind of have to sort of kick with my
Shimmy
legs
around.
to shimmy myself sideways on the toilet. And you never realize how much toilets are designed to keep you facing forward until you try to turn sideways of them without touching. So there's a handicap rail there. I kind of like use it to turn myself this way and my feet are on the wall. And I keep thinking, I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm walking on the wall like Spider-Man. And then I realize what's on the floor is better than the Amazing Spiderman was. Awful fucking movie. So
I've heard.
I'm done, and I'm like, all right. So I'm like trying to like grab wads of toilet paper to clean up enough of the floor. I'm pushing it to the side of the toilet basin. No, I didn't clean it up better than that. I cleaned myself up, but because it's 1,000 degrees and you don't want to get the chafe, you always make sure you have a warm soapy rag ready when if you have to, number 2 at work. Because you got to stay clean. So when I got off that thing, I was clean. So I took the rag.
Don't want that swamp ass.
And I sort of drape it gently over the pile of vomit. I'm like, maybe no one will notice. And then I pause for a moment. I think maybe like 10 or 20 years ago, this is how the men's bathroom started getting the way it was. So
that's so awful.
So I'm thinking to myself, the one woman we have who works here, when she comes in and sees us in the morning, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Put it? I'm like, maybe I should stomp it out. I'm like, stomp it out into what? It's not a dirt floor. It's not an outhouse. It's not like it's on fire. I can't put it out. In fact, if I set it on fire, it would be an improvement. So I'm like, I got to get back to the machine. So I just run back to the machine. And I actually felt a million times. I felt perfectly fine after that, almost better. And finished out my night, came home.
In the last 5 minutes, probably after that whole ordeal.
I came home and I actually made myself dinner because I was so hungry. I didn't even have the Gatorades in me anymore. So yeah, that's... and I saw The Amazing Spiderman.
Yep.
I think I went and saw it Sunday. Yeah.
Sounds right. I'll go. Like I would know. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
right. According to my notes, that's when I saw it.
That's where you were. Yeah, I went and saw it Sunday. It was awful. It was a confusing Spider-Man. It was a
great confusing Spider-Man, no good.
It was a disorganized mess. There were, the tone of it was wrong.
Sounds like the Broadway production they tried to do.
It was, like the tone, the Sam Raimi ones were supposed to be. They weren't like based in reality.
It's a comic book character.
But no, I mean like. Look at Batman; he's a comic book character, but it's based in a reality.
I know what you're saying.
Sam Raimi, the tone of his movies. I'm not even going to count the third one because that was
definitely not based in any kind of
emo
jazz hands reality.
Yeah, they kind of they were. It was like a comic book sort of reality,
right?
And it kept that tone, and it worked. Those movies worked. Honestly, what the Amazing Spider-Man alleged, what it reported itself as being, which would be like a more gritty,
Dark Knight-esque
dark,
thing,
real kind of thing,
Spider-Man.
Which doesn't necessarily work for Spider-Man himself,
because he's such a happy guy.
But it could have worked in the world he was in, and have him just be like a kid, which is what he really was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a high school student.
Yeah, that could have worked. Now they did try to develop his character. And the scenes you see in the commercials and the trailers and the previews were well done. It's almost like somebody had a great idea to make this movie,
right?
And then the rest happened by a committee of people who worked, for the studio. It was disorganized. There were continuity issues done by sloppy editing. It was just slop. I couldn't believe a $100+ million film could be edited poorly. I can't fucking believe. Not like, it was a poor choice of editing. No, I just mean it was put together wrong, wrong sequence.
It was like pooping and vomiting at the same time. It's all wrong sequences.
It made no sense. The characters of Aunt May and Uncle Ben were barely one-dimensional. They could have actually been cardboard cutouts of those two characters, and you wouldn't have noticed the difference. Wow. You had two terrific actors there. And
the only person I know, the only actor I can remember who's in that movie is Emma Stone.
Sally Fields.
Okay.
And that guy.
Perfect. He's great.
Martin Sheen, the elder Sheen.
Right.
So that's a terrific actor.
Yeah.
You've got they're both award-winning actors and actresses.
It's probably where all the money went.
And so they put them in this film. They give them the most... And they're supposed to be Spider-Man's, Peter Parker's. They're supposed to be where he gets his morals from.
Right.
And so they're very important.
Great power, great responsibility, et cetera.
And Uncle Ben, you're supposed to care about Uncle Ben.
Right.
Because when he dies, it's supposed to be a big deal.
Right.
And the movie starts off with him with his parents, and they leave him at his aunt and uncle's, and then his parents disappear, and then it immediately cuts to the present day. But why? His parents disappear, but why? But it had no bearing on the film. They could have been dead, and it would have been...
I don't know that far back
thing.
in the backstory of Spider-Man, but from what I know of the Spider-Man story, he's like always been with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Like that's, again, like you said, that's how he got the whole. That's how he got his morals instilled in him because he grew up with them.
Yes, and since they're so important, and one of them has to die, and him being with his Aunt May, and it has to be important, you have to care about this. You don't. The writing is terrible, and and you have a great actor and actress, and the lines are so campy and stupid, and the scenes are put together so clunky. They weren't. You had great actor, great actress, and they weren't able to sell their parts.
I guess this had to have been from the Marvel Studios, right?
I have no idea where it came from, but it needs to go back there and finish
well,
making
if it had that comic book page flippy thing and said Marvel in red real big at the beginning, no,
it did not.
Then that's probably why. Because Marvel was making fucking Avengers, so
I bet there was a movie that was good and had 10,000 characters in there, and they actually developed most of them.
Right. Well, on the other hand, the Avengers did have the fact that all those characters had at least one movie under their belts each. Well, the majority of those characters,
but within the context of if you just watched the Avengers.
Which I haven't, so that doesn't help.
But if you didn't watch any of the other ones and just watch the Avengers...
You'd still get an idea
of who
everybody was.
Because it happens on the screen. I had this argument with somebody at work because he's telling me about all this other stuff about the Amazing Spider-Man. And he's like, well, the sequels. I'm like, listen, you have no imagination. I'm like, I shouldn't have to imagine a good movie while I'm watching a movie to enjoy the movie.
That's the whole point of a movie is to tell a story within 2 hours.
And it has to be told through sight, sound, tone.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that go on. There was weird shit, like it would spoon feed you certain shit at inappropriate times. There's this, you've all seen it from the trailer, so I'm not ruining anything. If anyone listens to this and wants to go check it out themselves, I don't want to ruin it, but there's the scene where Lizard Guy is on the bridge and tearing through cars and stuff, and then Spider-Man shows up, doesn't confront him at all. So what was the point of having him on the bridge and have Spider-Man come to the bridge? Why? Because he just slinks off. And they don't even show him killing the corporate bad guy that he was there to kill. It's just nothing. There's no point. They don't even fight each other, really. It's a pointless scene that ends. It's just like, oh, I guess that it peters out. No pun intended.
Derp.
And then Lizard Guy starts turning back into scientist and comes to in the sewer. That can kind of make sense because he jumps into a river or climbs down the bridge into the river. So, okay, whatever. He climbs into a sewer. I'll buy that. And he's like, he gets up from the water and slimy water, and he's like a one-armed scientist again. He's like, oh, he's disoriented. I can buy that. And he's naked. I can buy that. I mean, they imply that he's naked.
Right.
Cut to next shot. He's wrapped in a dry, warm blanket, still in the sewer, walking along, and there's like some bizarre, exotic, tropical lizard on a pipe just sitting there, and he's like, so beautiful. He pauses to look at it and walks away. Where the fuck did he get a dry blanket? Why the fuck is there an exotic tropical lizard in the sewer?
Yeah, in New York, right?
In New York City. Okay? So...
yeah, that makes sense.
I'm looking at this, I'm like, that scene doesn't make sense. Now, later in the film, he figures out it's Peter Parker after this stupid scene in the sewer where Peter Parker's sitting there and he shoots a bunch of webs down all these pipes. There's like 20 pipes and they all lead to this one thing. So he shoots spider webs down them and sort of connects them into a big spider web. And he's sitting on the spider web and he's playing on his phone, playing something on his phone, waiting for like something to click. He's got his camera up on the wall connected by a spider web thing so that if like thing comes and there's like a big thing, it'll start clicking. I was like, that's kind of clever. But once again, this is not reality. This is more comic book reality. But earlier in the film, the tone was a gritty, urban-esque thing. But here we are you know what I mean? The tone's jumping back and forth, and it's not working because it's not transforming anything. It's just going back and forth, jerky. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So one of the web thingies starts to jiggle, and he's like, oh, okay, and then
the lizard is
along comes
jiggling
this
my web.
little tiny lizard. another exotic iguana-looking lizard. And then
Fucking a million of these things are
all of them start wiggling. And then there's like maybe 100 or so of these little, same size, CGI, exotic, colorful lizards all coming together and then going down one web. What the fuck is what? This is stupid. And then, of course, a lizard comes out of the one that they go down. Why? He has power over lizards? That doesn't make sense. Where are these lizards? How did they get there? He would have had to have brought them there. Why would he bring them there? Makes no fucking sense. So Lizard comes out. They have big CGI fight scene. And he finds camera and sees on the back, Peter Parker. Rah, 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 rah. So Peter Parker's at high school. Toilet vibrating in men's room, boys' room. Boom, out he comes of the toilet, just exploding. Right. Once again, why not have a manhole cover? Why would he dig through all that dirt and concrete with his lizard digging powers? Because lizards, they dig through concrete all the time. But I'm like, okay, once again, the tone is kooky. He comes out and he's going to fight Peter Parker. So Peter Parker's like, and makes everyone run away. And he runs away, has a Spider-Man costume with him for some reason at school.
You kind of hang on to that.
I was like, that's the least of the nitpicks to pick. You know what I mean? So
that's probably the most believable bit of this. So
they get into a big fight, and there's one scene where they're fighting, and then they like spill out into the library, and Stan Winston is the librarian, and he has headphones on, so he's
Stan Lee. You mean
Stan Lee?
Stan Winston's kind of dead.
Oh yeah, it's not. He's there. He's a corpse. He's like, this movie sucks. And so
if I had made the special effects here, it would have been better.
So what's the deal with the lizards? So
what's the deal with these lizards?
So he's sitting there and he's listening to music. So they're playing this music while in the background they're flying around
and stuff, right?
And I was like, this is actually kind of neat. This reminiscent of that scene in True Lies when the Harrier jet is like just missing and the guy's rocking out to the Spanish music.
Classic scene of some crazy shit's going on.
Once again, though, the thing that made True Lies so cool, it was going for that tone and it maintained that tone. It kind of ramped up the tone as it went along. That was the point. That was the gag. Cameron knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
this guy's a hack.
You're fired.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But it matched the tone, so that was an awesome scene. So they're flying around. I'm like, this would be a great scene in a Sam Raimi version of this. And so the lizard hears like the police show up. He's like, curses, and for some reason runs away. Doesn't